Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Readiness and Adoption Committee meeting. I'm giving people a few seconds to join here before we kick off into our discussion today. As always, if you're new or not, share your information about who you are, where you're coming from in the chat. We'd like to see anybody that's new today, but also if you're not new, introduce yourselves anyway. So I'll let you get busy with that while we wait for people to join. All right. Hi, Albert.
Hey, Rich. How's it
How
going?
you doing? Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well.
All right. Um, Looks like it's a few minutes after. I'm going to go ahead and kick us off here, and I will share my screen with the presentation that we have today.
Great.
I think everybody should be seeing that.
Yep, we can see it.
Great, thank you. Welcome everybody. This is Readiness and Adoption Committee number 10. So we're in double digits, which is exciting. My name is Rich Oppenheim. I'm the co-lead of the working group from Regional Government Services here. And my co-lead is Sahir Noor from City of Detroit. And Albert is our facilitator that helps us with everything as we continue our work through the committee. So thanks everybody for coming today. Our agenda is just welcome and introductions, which we're doing in the chat now. We'll check in with our upskilling group, our projects, and then we'll touch base on some other issues in terms of AI policy and adoption and any ongoing action items. And then if there's time at the end, which there likely will be, if any of our groups want to take the opportunity to go into some breakouts, or if any of the discussion from today leads us to wanting to have a further discussion about a specific topic, we can get to that point at the end of our agenda today. So let me confirm if Rick is on the call. Is Rick on the call today?
I am. Yeah, you want to go straight into upskilling?
Yeah, there we go. So let's touch in with our upskilling group, and I'm turning over to Rick.
Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure I can see the slides while you're doing. Okay, perfect. We've talked in the last session of these where we had these large volumes of playbooks, and we've been looking at making some very small, very targeted playlists to problems that people in the various cities have been saying they have. And so I wanted to get at least some critical mass, like 3 topics to come up with a template for these playbooks. And so based on the conversations we've had in our last 2 meetings, the topics you see here are the 3 that we're leaning towards trying to build out first. And we have some volunteers that are interested in participating in it. And we really want government people to be taking the lead on creating these, because Lon and I, who lead the working group at this point, are not government people, and this is by government for government. But we have heard loud and clear that just even getting started with AI training is a big challenge. Obviously the education group was doing great work in that. And we've heard the videos that the San Jose State has done for the city of San Jose are a nice starting point. And so really the playbook will be trying to consolidate the best practices in that and addressing different facets of how to get started. And then rolling out an actual education plan, because it's not a one-off. It's not like you have people go do one workshop and then they're good to go. And there's also lots of different levels at which people are their interest in AI and their readiness to actually use it and seeing it as a tool as opposed to a threat or a nuisance. And we've been hearing a lot about how, how a city will do a training program and then the IT department changes the AI system that they're now using, and the training is mostly not even relevant anymore. And people already have enough trouble being in a training program. A lot of this has to do with getting more alignment at the very top. In tech, where I come from, one of the big complaints that people have had about AI adoption is that the executives all look at it as time to market, and they're laying people off to do this. This isn't probably going to be as much the case in government, but the reality is, unless the leaders are aligned with the workers, and it's not just a top down like perform faster and that's all that matters, like it is in the industry at this moment. It's important to roll out a plan that has a shared vision that the top people in the government and the people in the IT department and everybody are working together on. So that's what we mean by the rolling out an education plan. And then what came up in the meeting yesterday, or maybe yesterday, was the agents and custom GPTs. And there's some really good work going on in Colorado that's starting to look at how to frame that with a government in mind. And really, I don't know how much. What I've learned is there's a giant spectrum in the GovAI Coalition of people who are tasked with helping figure out their AI strategy and coming here to get some guidance, to like IT leads who have what would be the envy of a tech company in IT and great practices. And somewhere in all of that is this notion between very basic training and the latter I just described, is building out really effective pieces, and that doesn't necessarily need to be done by a deep specialist, but might it's probably a combination of person close to the need and a specialist. And there are more and more agent frameworks coming out to really make AI extremely powerful and impactful. And so I think that's a nice topic that addresses my concern that so much is just on like really basic training, but there's even no code solutions that are really impressive that people could start leveraging for that. So that's the third topic, and we'll see what the Colorado team comes up with as a starting point for that, and then we'll kind of shape that into a playbook. That was the long part of the conversation. I won't keep going at this pace through these bullets. So we're also seeking reviewers. The person from Colorado, Stephen, he actually threw out some cheat sheets that they use and reference cards that they use in their city. And they're like 3 pages. They're very short, and they're really worth people taking a look because they may be useful to you, or they're Google Docs, so you can go in and add comments and give feedback, and he would love that because he's, the power of GovAI is to have different people weighing in on these things. So those are just off the press and they're in development, but that would be that's a nice resource that's coming in through our group.
Rick, can I ask you a really quick question?
Please.
What do quick start drop-ins mean for the second one?
So these are tools for getting for making very efficient use of ChatGPT, and I think there's some prompt guidance and things along those lines. These are really new, so I mean the links that are in your deck are live and people can go straight into those docs. I hope we've enabled them for everybody. So
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and let's see, and then also looking for reviewers. We featured in our meeting a couple weeks ago the work by Dr. Rapini in Tyler, Texas, and she has put a catalog of online AI courses, some paid, some not, and she categorized them by basic, intermediate, and advanced. And we'd love to get people's thoughts if they've used some of these, if there's others that they find useful that aren't on her list. But she did a pretty good scan of this, so just comparing notes on what is out there, and what has, some of these are actually, you know, towards certifications, and which certifications people value in their various government agencies. Again, we want more government people looking at these things, because once you get at least a few other cities looking at your work, it feels like it's more scalable in general, because it's addressing you know, some cross section of needs. And then she actually also crafted an AI curriculum specifically for government sector, and it's essentially a series of modules that build out skill sets. And she hasn't decided exactly who's going to build that curriculum out, but she's leaning that way over the AI courses that are online, partly because the AI courses come and go, and you know, and this would give her a little bit more control of the situation. But this would be another thing that, if you know, if a few cities could benefit, it might be sharing cost, or sharing learnings, or sharing the benefit of it actually happening is all possible there. Lon, who's been my partner in this and has worked a lot with government before we started getting involved to get with us, is leading a bunch of her interns and mentors in this Ask Me Anything about GovAI, the coalition in general, to just take the giant corpus of information that's available that GovAI has been compiling and building out, and making it so that it's, you know, extremely accessible, and then it can be applied to other cities. We've talked about this last time, but I'd love to get some volunteers. I don't even know where that is in terms of beta ready for people to use, but if anybody would be interested in trying it out, you can use the channels that I mentioned down here to just put your interest out there. So the last thing is, if you join the group, I mean, you don't have to go to the meetings. The meetings are cool. We try to have a featured topic of, you know, one of our various initiatives. The playbooks was the big one. This last one, the 2 weeks ago, was the certification. So and new people are bringing new perspectives each time, so it's great. And then we use the adoption support Slack channel, and I'd love to see that as a more active channel between meetings, because yes, I've worked at companies, and Slack can really help people, you know, tap into conversations and move things forward. And then finally, if people want to join, I don't think we've ever put this on the slide, but this is how people can request to be part of the working group.
Great. Thank you so much, Rick. And just a note, if you haven't seen it, Albert has dropped all of these links into the chat.
Nice.
So you
Thank
can
you.
access them there. We'll also send them around in the post-meeting follow-up. But Rick, another quick question for you on the AI courses. Did it reference in any way the list that we had already pulled together, the landscape of courses? Do you know if those two things are talking to each other? That might be a good idea.
They should definitely be talking to each other. I do not know whether Dr. Rapini, she was kind of new into this and just took this on.
Yeah.
So if you could actually in Slack put a pointer, or in the chat put the pointer to that list, I will make a note of that to Dr. Rapini and make sure that she's aware of that, and then maybe she can do another pass, because she's looking for feedback. And certainly your prior work, I absolutely don't want to do anything duplicative, so that's great.
Yeah, and they should merge, I think, and you know, that would be a great resource across both of these efforts.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I see something, Erin's unable to access the Slack channel with her work email.
Yeah, I should note that because of the GovAI Coalition policies, we are trying to restrict membership to mainly to people who are working for a nonprofit or a government. And so, Erin, I know you and I are talking and have talked. I've forgotten whether I'm pretty sure you're from government, and so if you're having permission issues and you haven't, try using the request link that's right above in the chat. And if you've tried that, it's actually AI Upskilling Plus Subscribe. It's the link that's underneath it is not quite including the whole thing. But if that doesn't work, then come back to me. You know how to reach me. And
Albert said he's going to help her resolve it too.
Thank you, Albert. Okay, awesome.
Thank you. All right, Rick, thank you so much. And it's great, as always, to see all of the energy and output coming from this very small, very focused group. So Kudos to your efforts, and we always look forward to hearing about updates. And again, a push out, if anybody wants to join any of these efforts, reach out to the contact information here, or in the follow-up message that we send out. So there's ways to get involved if you want to get involved in one or all of these. So
Perfect.
thanks so much, Rick.
Sure.
I'm doing a quick update for Dan because he wasn't able to be here. But for the AI for Police, the group met on August 8th. They're reviewing a 1-hour presentation for AI 101 for police. He's going to present that at the next Readiness and Adoption Committee meeting in September. And he's also planning on presenting that content in person at the California Police Chiefs Technology Conference on October 2nd and 3rd. So hoping to get feedback both from our group, but also from testing some of this material at this conference. So he's aiming to have a designed version published in earlier mid-September. So, and also there was some discussion about discussing some LMS learning management system platforms similar to what Jim is doing with fire engineering. So we'll go down that path with him and explore options that are available there for that working group. But the group is meeting again, I think. I can't remember the date and I forgot to put it on the slide, but I'll put it in the follow-up meeting. They're having a meeting in a week or two to move a lot of items forward, and we'll come back with an update at the next meeting. AI for policymakers. I think Maddie is going to check in with us about this today. Quinn and her did a presentation at the last meeting. Maddie, are you on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
Great. I'll let you take over then.
Perfect. Yeah. Great to see everyone. Happy to be here. As Rich mentioned, Quinn and I are continuing work on the AI for Policymakers training resource. We've shared the draft that we had with folks, and today is actually the deadline for feedback. So once, the day finishes, tomorrow, Quinn and I will be working on incorporating everyone's thoughts and comments. And just a thank you so much to everyone who's already provided really helpful feedback. And then once we get all those edits and feedback incorporated, I think we'll probably circle up with Rich, Hare, Albert, and whoever else needs to join to sort of put together the final product and put it out into the world. So we're really excited about it.
Great. Thanks so much, Maddie. I appreciate all the work you and Quinn are doing on that, and really looking forward to that final product. Have you gotten much feedback?
We have a decent amount of feedback, actually, yes.
Great. Excellent. So, excellent. Thank you very much. And I wanted to give a little update on Public Sector Network, and this is the landing space that we are using for GovAI training content. It's a user-based social media platform for government, and it's we've been updating the layout with them and sort of working out the details of that. But I wanted to show you where we're at with that and get some feedback from the group. So for those of you that don't know, Public Sector Network it's designed to be sort of a social media platform for government people to share ideas and share content with each other, similar to like a LinkedIn or something like that. And I'm just going to show you what this platform looks like here. So this is my profile. I set it up. You can go and into Public Sector Network and set up an account, a profile. And so you get a page that looks very similar to LinkedIn here. At the bottom, you can, once you can get the GovAI group put on your profile, you can, like when you go to the page for GovAI, you can say add to my groups on my profile. So it'll always be here as a tag. And this is the landing page for the GovAI Coalition. And so you'll see it looks like sort of a social media feed here. Things that have been posted by people in the network of the coalition will show up here as well. And then you can see a while back, we posted about the fire engineering course, the first lesson that Jim had built out, and we gave the YouTube video here. What we've also added is a space here on the side where we will start populating trainings as they're hosted here. So if you click on AI for the fire service, you know, it has a standalone landing page now with the branding for the course, an overview and a description, and then the list of courses. And these will populate as Jim develops these and they get ready for delivery. They will all have links to a specific subpage as the courses are built out. So right now we have the current one built out, the lesson one. If you click into that, it takes you to the landing page for just lesson one with the YouTube video. So it's making it more accessible than just I'm sorry, I'm seeing people saying they're not seeing my screen. Is that common for everybody?
No, I actually see your screen.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. I'm not sure what the issue is. Okay, it looks like most everybody can see it, and I'll try to send some information out about this so you can access it outside of the meeting if you're having troubles during the meeting right now. But this is essentially the landing page, and there will be a YouTube video for the course below the description. And then as the courses get populated below here, we will start seeing, you know, lesson 2, 3, quick access links below here. But right now we don't have anything aside from the first course here. So that's a high level walkthrough. And again, these will start being populated as we build up our other courses. They'll start being populated here as a quick handy reference, and then they'll each have a landing pages. And if there's subsequent courses, like if it's a multi-lesson course, for instance, that structure will be on the landing page. But you know, as we announce these, we can populate them in the social media feed. People can comment and like on the post itself when we launch a new course. And then you can interact also on the actual page that you go to. So I know that's sort of a very quick walkthrough. The other thing we have talked about is there is a featured content area over here on the right-hand side, which I've talked to Charlie about populating that with the courses that we build out. So, you know, in addition to partner content, which helps you see what else is happening around the rest of the public sector network, I think we're going to be able to populate our content here for quick access also. Thanks for sharing that link, Albert, in the chat. So that's sort of where we're at. The things that we have to think about with this, with the public sector network, is that it is for government professionals mostly. So there are some limitations to who can join. There is a path for vendors in this space, which is a different path than who are government users. And something that came up with us in discussion in the police group was, you know, Jim and the police group Jim speaking from fire, and the police group were wanting to potentially get volunteers to have access to content. And we'll need to explore with public sector network how we get access to people that might not be who might be volunteers but not government employees. Otherwise, we might push them to the other area like fire engineering, where Jim is also co-sponsoring content with that group, which I think is going to have a free access to engage with content through that channel. But the public sector network, the benefit of that for people that gives you access to a wider network of people and content. that drives that. And I'm sorry for the fast scroll there. But I did want to point out, the other thing I was going to point out is that the region's, public sector network is international in many ways. It's the United States is a new area for them. I think they're building this out, but they have a lot of content from these areas, and I think they're planning on sort of growing international content also. So as you'll get access not just only to stuff that's being talked about in the United States, but also in some of these other regions, which is a great benefit if you join this channel and get access to a lot of the material and stuff that's being shared within this network. So anyway, I know that was a quick dive through that, but that's where we're standing now with public sector network. And I wanted to open it up to see if anybody had any questions or comments about that resource or access. I'm not hearing anything. And Albert, I think I'll maybe talk to you and Layla about the access issues and how we want to address that. I know at one point you had given them a list of, I can't think of the name, but tags on the end of emails, permissible email types to get access into this group. But I kind of want to wrap my head around that a little bit more and think about how we want to engage with access around this tool.
Yeah, Rich, and we can you can work with Layla on this, but long story short, the full list of the committee, which I think you have access to, we can just we can share that with PSN after this, or we can just connect them to the list directly. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I wanted to turn over to Sahara if she's here today, to touch base on what's happening with AI policy.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Rich.
Hello.
Like always, we have this one-on-one sessions. I can help people if you are new or still looking for help on how to have a policy, or how to, like, even if you're in the development phase and if you have any difficulties or any questions on how to navigate the resources available on the AI Gov website. Anything like that. I've had some sessions, and we also had a webinar not too long ago, and I've received feedback that was useful for folks, especially if they are just starting. Excuse me. Just starting out. So take a look at that and reach out to me if you have any questions. Yes, was it Letty? Yeah, it is recorded, and there's a YouTube link. I don't know if I have that link. I'll post that in the chat here. But yes, it's a recorded session on demand.
Is that this one you're talking about, Sahara? On the
Yes.
page?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get this link into the chat for you.
Thank you.
So that we can share that.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, back to you, Rich.
That's okay. And just a reminder, as Sahar said, we did record a quarterly introductory webinar. One of the outputs of this committee is to educate our own coalition members on how to access and use resources and templates here at the coalition. So that is available to us going forward. And we'll, I imagine we will record that. We'll make new versions of that as the coalition content evolves over time. So that's our first swing, and we're always looking for good feedback on that also. If you have that if you do have an opportunity to view it. Okay, so I always share this at the end. We are always, as this is, for our committee, we're always looking for training materials and resources. We have an AI education folder where we keep all of the content and the work of our working groups and our content groups here in the AI education folder space. We also have this AI education landscape, which is what I was referring to with Rick earlier, which is just a collection of government-focused AI training courses that you can access. It sounds like we need to potentially do some cleanup of that and some syncing with the upskilling group in terms of a list of potential courses that people can take. So again, if you're interested in helping at all with updating this landscape, it's a list of courses and a spreadsheet, and it's really helpful. It lists what the course is, who the general audience is for, what the content is, whether it's free or not, the sort of the specific focus of it. And then there's a space to put comments if you've taken the actual course and give us feedback about how effective you thought it was. So that's a great resource if you want to dive into that. And then as general, if anybody's new here today and wondering how you can get involved, as we've talked about with some of these check-ins, any committee members today in the meeting today can volunteer to assist on any of the projects that we've talked about in this meeting or that we talk about in any of the meetings. And your involvement can be very small depending on your schedule to helping build out, taking a very active role depending on how much time you have and interest around the specific topic. But it can be as simple as drafting bullet point outlines and content, helping build out PowerPoints, contributing to brainstorming, connecting with external organizations that might add value and be potential partners for some of the content pieces that we're working on. So reach out to me and Sahara if you want to join a group or have an idea of your own. If you see a project that you haven't seen mentioned in the class or in the committee, please let us know. We're always looking for new ideas. And also just a reminder, share internal AI practices and tools. Like you see a lot of this great content coming from the upskilling group. If you have anything like that you built for your agency that has helped your agency move forward with AI or any specific AI tools, we're always looking for resources that we can collect and share with our other members across the coalition. So that's kind of the end of the structured content today. Albert, do you have anything?
No, all good on my end. And I think both of our folks, Daughtery and Aaron, were able to get into the Slack. So we should be set there. And yeah, regarding the question of is there a specific nonprofit group? Nope, just part of the government civil society group. So we're all working there together. The only reason we have some limitations on the vendors is mostly to do with just some concerns around if there's too much involvement with the vendor, it could conflict with some agencies, what is it called? Purchasing rules and regulations. And the last thing we want is a vendor that is taking the time to work with us to then suddenly get disqualified from some type of purchasing contract because they worked with us on, some of this cutting edge AI stuff.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Albert. And I wanted to touch base, do we have any teams that want to use our remaining time to connect in smaller groups? That's
Hey,
always an
Richard.
option.
This is Dr. Rupini here.
Hello.
I would like to meet with you and Rick separately to discuss about the collaboration that you were talking about a few minutes back regarding the AI certification and AI new curriculum. So if you can guide us a little bit on that, we could start working on that.
Great, thank you. I'll get that set up. Any other working groups that want to use the remaining time? Okay, I'm hearing a no. So if you want to stay and participate in the discussion about the collaboration between sort of the landscape and the work of the upskilling committee on the course guide there, you know, you can definitely stay on board. Otherwise, you are free to go, and we will make a recording and send out meeting notes after this meeting. So